Hi everyone, I'm Paula with Reed and Willow Crafts. Welcome to my channel. I'm new to YouTube. This is my first video, so I'm a little nervous. I'm very excited to be here. I sell handmade home decor, and I have a website and an Etsy shop, which I will list in the description box below. I am married to a really great guy. I've been married a long time. I have 3 grown sons, whom I'm very proud of. And I just wanted to come onto YouTube and share with you how I make some of my crafts. And I hope that you will subscribe. And if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. So with all that being said, let's jump into our video. I really hope you enjoy it. So let's get started right now. We're going to be making a pumpkin, as I'm sure you can see. I have a wooden pumpkin, and I've got this material, the scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. It's a really nice fall looking paper, and it's a little distressed on its own. It looks a little dirty here and there. And the first thing we want to do is cut this out. So we're going to draw an outline on the back of the scrapbook paper, and we're going to cut it out. And just remember, when you lay your wood round or wood pumpkin or whatever you're making, when you lay it on the scrapbook paper, make sure that you lay it the way that you want your object to come out. So like, for example, we don't want the stem going the wrong way, so you need to make sure you cut it out the same way that you're going to put it on the paper, if that makes any sense. So now we've got it cut out, and we're going to fit it on there just to make sure that it looks good. And we're going to be painting that stem, so we won't worry about that for now. And if you find that you have an overlap of paper by looking on the back, don't worry about that right now, because what we're going to do is sand that off with a block sander. So the first thing we're going to do now is use our glue stick. Sometimes I use Mod Podge, but for wood, most of the time I like to use a glue stick. And it also depends on how heavy the paper is. If it's real heavy, Mod Podge works just fine, but I decided to use a glue stick on this one. So we're going to make sure and give it a really good coat of glue. And I use the Elmer's glue stick because I find that it really works well. And we're going to set our paper on there, get it all lined up, and we're going to smooth it out as best we can, and make sure you smooth it out really good so that it will stick. And I also have a brayer that I like to use, because that really does help it stick really well. Just getting any little bubbles or anything that you have. And you can go back if you find that there are places that need more glue. Just lift your paper up and apply some more glue, and there you go. Now I'm going to use this really cute little thankful sign that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be using Waverly Antique Wax to put on that thankful sign, because it really brings out the beauty of the wood and any grains that you can see. And we'll be doing the pumpkin stem in a different color. So we're just going to give this one coat of the antique wax. And yeah, there you see it. I threw it all over the place. Just don't want to stick my arm in it. So yeah, just one quick little coat of that. And then I just take a paper towel or a soft cloth. You can also use a baby wipe. Those work really nicely too. And just wipe off that coat you just put on, And that really does bring out all of the wood grains. It'll look really nice. Okay, so here we are. We're going to figure out where we want to put it. Make sure it's all... I've done that about 1,000 times, haven't I? Okay, so now we're going to take Waverly chalk paint in the color of truffle and paint that stem. And what I want to do is come down a little bit further so that it'll look like a real pumpkin. Now, I'm no artist, but, you know, you just do the best you can do. So, I don't think that I went down far enough, so I believe I'm going to go down a little bit further. Yeah, just like that. And I think that's going to look better. You do it how you want. You know, you don't have to do it the same way I'm doing it. All of this is just to kind of give you an idea of how I did it. You just do it your way. Use your colors, use your own scrapbook paper, whatever you want to do. Make it fit in with your decor. So we've got that applied. Now we're going to give it a little bit of a dry with my heat gun. Make sure that it's all nice and dry, because you don't want to smear it or smudge it. So I think the next thing we're going to do is sand that paper off. So I'm sorry I'm out of frame a little bit. All you do is just swipe down. Don't go along the edge sideways, because then you'll rip your paper off. What you want to do is, oh, I'm sorry, the phone's ringing, just ignore that. What you want to do is just go in a downward motion, and it will take all that excess paper off. That way you don't have to cut it, and it kind of gives it a nice finished look. Because sometimes when you try to cut it, it's near impossible to get close enough to the edge of whatever you've got your paper on. So and this sander, I love this. It's I believe I got that at Walmart, and the small one, I think I got that at Menards. But they're made by the same company, and I really like those. So now I'm going to do a little bit of distressing with that antique wax, and I'm going to just get a lot of it off of my brush, unload as much as I can, and then I'm just going to start kind of brushing, pouncing it around the pumpkin, just to give it kind of an old vintage look, or an old dirty look. And like I said before, the paper already looks a little distressed itself, but this just kind of helps it along. So now my fingers are going crazy. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking something. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of paint to the stem of the pumpkin, because it's too dark. So I believe that's Ivory chalk paint by Waverly that I'm using, and I'm just excuse me, very lightly going over that stem. There's a term for the stem of a pumpkin, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, so there it is. Just lightened it up a little bit so it's not so dark and it looks out of place. Okay, so next we're going to put our thankful sign on. And I think it looks pretty good. Well, no, we're going to dry it first, I guess. Okay. Remember, this is my first video. I kind of know what I'm doing. Now we're going to glue that sign down. And I'm just using hot glue. I use Gorilla Glue. This is a fine point glue gun. And I don't remember. I usually use Surebonder. And I do have one that's an even finer point, and then I've got several big ones. But The fine point ones are nice for little detail work like this. So I'm putting my glue on. And like I said, I use Gorilla Glue sticks because I just find they work the best. That's just my opinion. But you want to make sure that when you put it down, you put it exactly where you want, because there is no wiggle room to move it around. Once it's down, it's down. And then you just press it down, hold it down for a minute. That way it'll give the hot glue a minute to set up. And then there it is. Isn't it cute? I really think it's cute already. But we're not done. We're not done. So now we're going to add some ribbon, or we're going to pick out our ribbon. And I think what I'm going to do here is make a messy bow. So I'm just cutting up small pieces of different kinds of ribbon, burlap, just whatever I have that I think will go nicely with this paper. And I'm just going to cut strips out, and I'm probably cutting them too long, but that's okay, because you can always take ribbon off, you can always cut it off, but if it's too short, then you can't add to it. You'd have to start over again. We don't want to waste any of our supplies. So you can add as much or as little as you like to your ribbon. If you want it full, you add more ribbon. If you want it kind of sparse, you just add a little bit, however you want to do it. And I love making messy bows. I just think they're so cute. And they're different. Okay, and we're going to add some orange also. So we have some orange, we have some lace, we have some burlap with leaves on it, I think, and burlap with pumpkins on it. And now I think we're going to start assembling our bow. We're going to cut off a little piece of jute to tie our bow together. And now we're going to start layering our pieces. And I like to just, crisscross them, put some straight across, crisscross, however you want to do it. You can always fuss with it later after you've got it made and fluff it up and fix it however you want. So you grab it right in the middle and hold it tight together. And I'm sorry, I'm out of frame again. And then you just tie that twine on there and make sure you get it really tight, because if you don't, that ribbon will start coming out. So I like to pull mine extra tight, and then I like to do a double knot, just to be sure. Because why not? You don't want your ribbon falling apart. Okay, so we've got it all put together. It's looking pretty good. I'm just kind of messing with it a little bit. And I'm going to cut off the extra bits of twine where I tied it together. Now we're going to kind of just dry fit it on the pumpkin to see what it looks like. And like I say, once you get it glued on there, you can really mess around with it. And I suggest before you glue it on, you cut off whatever you would like to cut off to fit your project, because it's a little easier to do that than when it's glued on. So here come the flowers. So we're going to add some floral and some berries and what is that stuff called? Foxtail. So I kind of like to lay my florals out beforehand. That way I can tell what looks good, what I want, what I don't want. And then I'm just going to start cutting them apart, because I don't want to use all of them. I just want to use, 2 or 3 on each side. And you just need to put them down there to see what looks best and what is pleasing to your eye. So we'll just cut a few apart, and then we'll kind of place them on there and see what it looks like. And again, it's up to you. Use whatever florals you want, whatever you like, whatever looks good with your paper. So that looks really nice. Now we're going to see about those foxtails. I just thought these colors were so pretty with that paper. And I think it's going to look really nice. So we're going to cut all of our foxtails off. And again, until you start messing around with it and putting them down, you won't know how many you're really going to need. But save them. If you cut them off, make sure you save what you don't use, because you can always use it in another project. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of putting them down just for an idea. Doesn't have to be perfect. All you're doing is getting the placement. You want the placement to be right before you start gluing. So I think I take these two off. I think I only use one foxtail. I'm not sure. Let's watch and see what I do. Do I use both of them with the bow? Oh, maybe I do. Okay. So, oh, now, let's see. Do those berries look good? I think they look pretty nice. So I'm going to cut those apart and see if what they look like with the rest of the florals on there. Sometimes these berries are hard to work with. So anyway, I guess we're going to use them. So now we're going to just start gluing things on one at a time. And if you don't have one of these spatulas, I suggest you get one. That has saved my fingers so much from burning from that hot glue. And I got mine from Amazon, and I've heard that people get theirs from the Dollar Tree as well. I've never seen them there, but they really are good, and they work well. Because if anybody's going to burn their fingers, it's going to be me. I burnt my finger so bad one time. I had the biggest blister. I could barely touch anything. So let's try to avoid that. Or, you know, they have those fingertip protectors as well. If you have those, use them. Okay, now I think here comes the decision. Are we going to use that? No? Maybe not. Okay, so now we're going for the other side. And also, another thing you want to look for is not putting your florals too close together, coming from the left and right, and not putting them too far apart. Because one way, if you put them too close together, your bow is going to be all bunched up, and that won't look good. If you put them too far apart, then you're going to see those stems, and you really don't want to see those. So, like I say, and like I showed you, I kind of laid it all out to see where I wanted everything. So now comes time for the next foxtail. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that like button. And leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think about this project. Tell me how I'm doing on my first YouTube video. You won't hurt my feelings. It's kind of crazy starting YouTube, but you know, you got to start somewhere, I guess. So the berries now. We're going to put the berries on. I'll also leave my website and my Etsy shop. I'll leave those links in the description box below. I would love for you to go over to my website and take a look. I also have a blog, and I'll link that. And you can also get to my blog through my website. I have fun writing my blog. I'm kind of goofy, so, you know, it's fun. So now we're going to see, oh, how's that bow looking? Oh, yeah. That looks really nice. I like it. So let's glue that on. And you don't need a lot of glue for that, just enough to make sure it's going to stick. And just hold it down for a few seconds. Now we're going to add some raffia because it looks a little bare. So we're just going to tie just a regular bow, nothing fancy, just a shoestring bow. And what I like to do sometimes is I like to rip the raffia apart. It makes it look fuller. And there we go. We're going to glue that down. I love making things like this. It's so much fun for me. This isn't like a real job. It's a job, but it's not like going to an office every day. Now we're going to cut our raffia tails down. And again, you're going to leave them long. You can cut them short, however you want. You do you. And look at that. How cute is that? I love it. I love the way that turned out. That is so adorable. Yeah, I'm admiring my work. So now I'm thinking, do I want to put a hanger on this? Or do I want to make it a standing piece? And oh boy, here we go. We're going to make it a standing piece. So I'm just using these little Jenga blocks. And I'm just going to take two and glue them together. Make sure you got them glued together enough, and then you kind of place it on there and see, is it going to stand with just the two, or do you need another one? And we needed another one. It just depends what your piece is and how big it is and at what slant you want it to be. And so now we're going to glue that on. So this will be a shelf sitter. You can set this on your shelf. You can put it on a side table. You can put it on any table you want, anywhere you want. And so now we're going to take a little look at it. Yep, it's looking good, pretty good. Straighten everything out. So cute. Oh, uh-oh. Our sign fell off. Yep, it sure did. I didn't put enough glue on. I knew I wasn't putting enough on, but I thought, yeah, I don't want it, you know, seeping out between the letters, so let's try it again. And trust me, it stayed put. So there we are. That is such a cute little pumpkin. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for you. So remember to subscribe and like my channel, and we'll see you next time.